What is name entity recognition and how can I utilize the same in UiPath? That is what we are going to understand in this video. Hi everyone, welcome back to the next videos of the generative AI activity series in UiPath, where we are trying to understand the activities by building a small use case. My name is Mukeshkala. I am now a 5 times UiPath MVP, certified solution architect and a LinkedIn top voice. I have shared my LinkedIn details on the page. Feel free to send me a connection request. Happy to be part of your network. Also, you can scan the QR which you see on the screen and join the WhatsApp community as well. Before getting started, in case you are coming to the channel for the first time, haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the next videos in the same playlist. Having said that, let's get started. For the people who are directly coming to this video, I would request you to please refer to this complete playlist to understand the basics and the other activities as well in details. You would find the playlist link in the description. Okay, so first of all, let's try to understand what exactly is this NER or the named entity recognition in UiPath. Okay, so if I go by the definition, the NER activity in UiPath is designed to identify and classify the named entity in a given text. Now, you might be wondering what exactly is this named entity, right? Trust me, at the end of this video you would understand all of this concept, right? So basically, for example, if I have a long piece of text or if I have a lot of information available with me, with the help of named entity recognition, I am able to identify the entities which I have named. So if you see on the screen, I have given an example where it says that NER is a language to detect and categorize the key entities. So the key entity could be a person name. So I have a huge list of text and from that I want to identify the person name. So the person becomes the key and the person becomes the entity and John Doe is the value for that. Similarly, if you see that in a particular text, you could have a different kind of entities. You could have organizations, you could have locations, date and time, monetary values, and the product informations or the product name as well. So whenever I have a lot of information and I want to retrieve any specific entities from that text, I use something which is called NER, also known as the name entity recognition. Okay, so this is the basic and that helps you to categorize the things and extract the information for your use case. Now, if today I have to use the NER activity from the generative AI activity pack, these are the inputs which you would require, right? Connection ID. I hope you guys are following this playlist so you'd understand that this is coming from the UiPath integration services, right? We need to provide the input text, and the third one, which is a bit important, is the entities, because the AI would not be able to identify that which all entities you require. So what we need to provide to the AI is, this is my input text. From this input text, I am interested to extract all these different entities, right? And then if required, you can also provide some set of examples, right? And the output from this would be a JSON format, which you can actually utilize and extract all the information, right? And all of this information is stored in the output variables. Don't worry about the technicals. When we actually go and build a use case, you would be able to understand it better. Okay, so these are the configuration details. Please remember, we need the input text, we need the entities, and we need the connection ID to the integration services, right? So this would be the configuration for the activity. Now let's talk about the use case which we are trying to automate today. So the use case which we are trying to automate today is automating the resume screening, right? I hope this is the use case which all of us can relate to. Let's try to understand a little bit about the use case. Okay, so the slide says hiring is one of the most crucial part of any company, and an HR spend a lot of time in manually reviewing the resume, filtering the candidate, and ensuring that the correct candidate is shortlisted. And for that, they have to extract the relevant information from the resume. In other words, we have to extract the entities from the resumes. With the help of UiPath NER activities, any organization can automate this process and make their hiring process efficient, accurate, and unbiased, right? So basically, if you relate it to the NER description, which I just told about, right? So there I was extracting name, organization, company, product. For a hiring, it would be mostly related to the information which the HR wants from the resume. So when we actually build this use case, we would be defining the entity as per what HR requires into the hiring process. Okay. Next is what are the key challenges today, so that I have to use this one, right? High volume of application. There is a lot of information, a lot of resumes are coming. Whenever we post a job, we get a lot of requirements, and the important things which HR require are the name, skill, work experience, and the education. The second thing is, since we are dealing with resumes, every one of us have a different format of resume. You might have created it in Word, somebody might have created it in PDF, or somebody might have just given a plain text, right? So that's why there is inconsistency in the format, so we cannot actually use the traditional RPA stuff, right? Then the next one is human bias in the shortlisting, which means that we can have unintentional biases based on the recruitment judgment, right? Based on the recruitment, if he or she might skip some of the information while reading the resume. That's why these kind of solution become popular, to make sure that we are giving a unbiased feedback, or we are shortlisting candidate without getting into any unintentional biases, right? Now the last one is difficulty in matching the job requirements. HR team have to struggle to compare resume with the job description. Once you have all this data, you can actually write one more logic and one more GenAI activities to compare it to the job description as well, right? So these are the challenges, and with NER activities, it will simply go and extract the candidate name, work experience, education, scale, certification, projects, and gives an HR and a structured data so that HR can actually refer it. Now this is a structured data. When I say that it has a proper structure, rows, column, key, value pairs, you can actually put it into back to your organization database for the future hirings, and you can also rank the candidate based on these details, right? Again, all of this is customizable, so depending on your requirement, you can actually go and customize this, right? So I hope you guys understood the background of NER, what is the problem statement, and what solution NER brings, right? If that is the case, just say that, just comment down, understand the use case, so that I understand that yes, we all are on the same page. Okay. And now let's try to go back to UiPath Studio and try to build this solution in a step-by-step manner. Okay, so I am back into my UiPath Studio. Let's me go here and I'll create a new process. I'll call this as NER underscore HR process, right? Good practice, always provide a description, and this is for the CV screening, right? And I'll just go and I'll say create. Okay, so I hope people who are following this tutorial, you might understand that we are going to use the integration services NER activities. Okay, cool. So this is our workflow, and let's now go and see the input file which I have got today. Okay, so for the demo, what I have got is I have kept some of the text from a resume. The resume is for a candidate named Amit. He has 5 years of experience and he seems to be a RPA candidate, right? So this is the text which I have kept it in a notepad/txt file, right? You actually, when you are building this automation, you can read the same file from a PDF, download this attachment from email. All of that is your part of implementation, right? In the previous videos of this playlist, we have already seen how I can download the attachment using integration services from Outlook. So you can replicate the same steps and get started with this use case, right? So if you are new to how do you download attachment, please refer the previous videos in the playlist, right? For this solution, I'm directly going to start with the PDF. I'm directly going to start with the text file, but you can also do it with your own resume, your friend's resume, or your colleague's resume as well. Okay. And in case it is PDF, you just go here and you read the PDF, right? You will get the output as a string. Okay. So I have it in the text file, and my text file is located at this location. You can see here Amit Sharma CV, that is what I have got here, this one. So to read that CV, I'll go to UiPath and it is a text file. So I'll just go here and I'll say read the text file, right? If you have a PDF, you just go and use something which is called read PDF, right? And then I'll just click on this guy and I'll go to my folder and I'll just select the CV. I'll say open, and that will give me the content. I'll go to the properties and output. I'll hit Ctrl+K and I will just say CV underscore content, right? And that way I have my content, right? Again, if you have a PDF, just use read PDF and all those stuff, right? Now let's go to here and try to get the activity called NER, which is nothing but the name entity recognition. And you can see that this activity is available here, which is named entity recognition. Okay, so for that, why I'm getting that? Because if you go to the filter, I have kept it to available, right? And if you go to the project, as of now, I don't have any dependencies of integration services. As soon as I go to activities, drag and drop this NER, right? UiPath Studio is automatically going to download and add the respective dependencies to my project. Okay, and yes, you can see that UiPath generative AI activity is getting added. If I go to the project, you would see that UiPath.integrationservices.activities are added, right? So this is the same way we have been working. Okay, now it is asking you for the connector. Again, it's already connected to my default account. In case you are new, you can just click on this setting button and click here and say add a new connection. Okay, and that should add the connection for you as well. Okay, now it's asking me what is the input text. So I hope you guys would have understood the input text is nothing but which we got from the CV. So the CV content becomes the input text. Now the important part is the entities, right? What if you remember the definition and the the theory part of NER, where we told that whenever we work on such models, we need to make sure that we provide entities. So entities would be different for different use case. So today I am building an HR use case. I have CV as an input, so I have to tell what exactly is that thing, right? So for that, I'll simply go here and provide the entities, right? So the entity which I'm interested today is, let's say, the name. Okay, and you have to put it in double quotes, person name, right? And then what exactly is the description, right? So I can just go here and I can say name of the person, right? So this is same like we did in the previous use cases. You just have to define the entity, right? Then the next thing is the email which I'm interested. I'm just doing a copy paste so that I save time, and this is nothing but the email address of the person, right? You can make it more defined as per your use case. Okay, the next information which I am interested is the phone number. So I'll copy this, I'll get here maybe in sorry, my bad, in double quotes, phone number, and this is the phone number of the person, right? And then what else you require? So let's say I require the LinkedIn. So whatever information you want, you just keep on adding here, right? So I could say that LinkedIn profile URL. If required, you can also provide the example as well into the same prompt. Okay, then what else I require? Maybe I'm an HR, so I would require the education, right? And the education would be the education background of the candidate. Okay, and the important one, right? We are hiring for RPA, so I need to know what are the skills, right? So I can just go here and I say technical skills of the candidate from the resume. So whatever the more you are actually able to define the entity, the better it would be for the use case. Okay, now let's say I am hiring, so I'm also interested to know the current company maybe, right? So what is the current company? So maybe I can just say the current company, okay, or maybe the current employer of the candidate, right? So that this helps me to evaluate the person better. Okay, so this is the set of dictionary which I have created. Depending on your use case, you are free to create your own dictionary, and this dictionary is a key value pair. So this is nothing but a list of entities and their descriptions, right? The same thing we did in the previous use case as well. Okay, so once you are done, all you have to do is just go here and click on this guy which says save, and that's it, right? So now what will happen is when you run this automation, it will try to extract all those information from here, right? Now let's go to here, and I'll quickly want to show you some of the properties which you can manage. These are the out argument, right? So variables and arguments are of in and the out type. So whenever you run this automation, you are getting these entities and this thing as an output. Okay, and now if I go to the properties, you would see here you have two things which is an output. One is the output entity, which I can just go here control plus K, and I can say out underscore entities, right? And here I can hit control plus K the same way we used to do in the previous, and I can say JIT underscore named entity. Okay, and okay, my bad, I think I JIT underscore NER. I put an extra space, right? And now if you go to the variables, you would notice that the CV content is a string, the out entities is a string, and the NER create is a variable of the type this activity, which is NER underscore create, right? Now all we have to do is just run and try to see how I can utilize the information from that. Okay, so I'll go to the activities and I will use something which is called a log message, drag and drop it here, and let me put a info level log, and I will just put a breakpoint here, right? First try to see what actually we are getting here, right? So I'll save this and I'll say debug the file. And if everything works as expected, we should get this content into the variables, right? So I'll go to the output, sorry, not in the output, into the locals, right? And you have these two variables which are populated. So in the output entities, if I just copy it to clipboard, let's take it to the notepad, I'll create a new tab, paste it here, and you can see that this is the content which we have got. So the text is Amit, person name, the text is Amit Sharma, it's email, phone number, LinkedIn profile, bachelor in computer, IIT Delhi, education, all of this information it is able to extract. Okay, let's try to see what do we get into the other one, which is the JIT NER. So this is the content which we are going to get from the entities, like that what is the person name and what is the text and what all input it has, right? So now we can see that the information is extracted, right? But as a developer, I want to make sure that I am getting this data into some variable, into some structured format, so that I can utilize it, right? So for that, you might need to do some kind of manipulation to extract this information, right? Let me quickly show you how you can do that. Okay. Okay, so now to extract that information, basically it is in a form of a JSON array, right? So if you see this one, this is a form of a JSON array, and we have UiPath built-in activities to do that. Okay, so it's absolutely simple. You just have to go to activities and search here maybe JSON. Okay, and you will get something which is called deserialized JSON array. You have two activities, so I am interested in this one, which is deserialized JSON array. Drag and drop it here, and what would happen is UiPath is going to add UiPath.web activities, web API.activities package to do this, right? So if you go to the activities, this in the project, you would see that UiPath.web API.activity package should be added to get this activity. Okay, now where is the JSON string? So JSON string is nothing but if you go to the properties, this one which is the out entities, this will come here as a JSON string. So I can put a tab and that will create the JSON string. So deserialized JSON array is going to take this as an input and it is going to give me the JSON array as output. And if I hit a tab, you can see that it has created an object which is called JSON array. So you can hit Ctrl+K and also create the same thing here, right? So the input is the out entities from the connector activity and then you have an array, right? Now all you have to do is to get the data out of the array, you simply can use a for each activity. So I'll just go here and I'll use something which is called for each. Okay, drag and drop it here, and here I want to specify where exactly is my data. So I want to get the data out of the J array, right, which is nothing but which I got from this one. And now you are getting an error here which says that J array is not defined, right? Let me quickly check what is J array. Okay, it's not J array, my bad, it is out of J array, right? So in the deserialized JSON array, you are getting it in the out J array. So here you have to use the out J array. Okay, and as soon as you do that, if you go to the properties now, you would see that it is now available as the out argument is already changed, and now you are getting the data in this one which is the current J token. Okay, so now into this one I can just use a log message activity. I'll drag and drop it here, and into the log message activity I can just print the current J token dot toString. So where is this coming from? This current J token is nothing but whichever you are getting into the for each, right? So what is going to happen? It is going to loop through all these data one by one, which is this, and it is going to give you the information in this way, right? Something like this. So the name like this, right? Let's try to see, and I'll just put maybe a breakpoint here, and let's try to see that what output we are getting into this thing, right? So this is the best way of doing the programming so that you guys understand what is happening in the background. Okay, so ideally what should happen is it should give me that complete array. So I'll just go and I hit continue, right? And let's go to the output. It's blank, so I say step into, and now I am getting this as the first entity, right? The text is Amit Sharma and the type is a person name. So the entity person name is identified as Amit Sharma. I can hit continue, I can say step into, and now I'm getting the email, continue, I got the phone number, I got the LinkedIn, right? So basically it is able to extract all this information, right? So if I just remove the breakpoint and I say continue, you would notice into the output, I am actually getting all the things which I require, right? Now this again is coming as a key value pair. Now at any point of time, if you are interested to know any of this, it's very simple, right? So as of now, this information, whatever you see, this from here to here, this is one J token, and from the J token, what information you want from the J token? Let's say I am already interested in the text, right? Only interested in this thing. So all you have to do is here where you are writing this current J token, from the, let me open it here, right? So from the current J token, I am interested in which key. So I am interested in, let's say the, what was that, type, I guess. Let's save this. So yeah, this is the type and this is the text, right? So we are interested in the text, my bad, not the type, right? You can use the type as well. So let's do it one thing, right? So I can say this is the type, and then I also want to print the text also. Okay, and then both of them I would just like to concatenate with the help of a colon, right? So this way, from the J token, any value which I require, if I'm interested to know the type, I can use this. If I'm interested to know the text, I'll use this, right? I'll save this and Control plus S and just go here and I say run the file, right? So now if everything works as expected, whatever data I have included into this CV, which is this one, here it is, right? From this CV I should get the output, right? So let me go to here into the output, and you can see here I have got the person name, the email, the phone number, the LinkedIn, the company is TCS, and for the skills you can see that it has got multiple different entities. So all you have to do is you can just club it based on the entities as well, right? But if you will realize here, without writing much of the code, I was able to extract this information. The only coding which I require is this one, that how do you get the data out of the JSON, right? And that is also purely optional for you guys, right? So once you have got this data, now what else you can do, right? You can put this data back into an Excel sheet, you can put into a data table, you can write it as an email, you can use it to do the comparison, right? You can have a folder. In that folder you can have, let's say, 10 different resumes. You can loop through all the resume and get this information, and then ask the analyzer activity to analyze it and give you which is the best candidate, right? So all of that is your implementation. So this is how the NER works. So which means that we were successfully able to define the entities. First you read the data, then you define the entities, what entities you want, all those entities it will take, and then it will give you a JSON array. From that JSON array you can iterate and get the information out of it. The same NER you can use it in any other use case. It can be related to banking, HR, finance, insurance, manufacturing, right? Wherever you have a text and you have entity to recognize, you can get the data out of it, right? So that is it I wanted to cover in this video. Just let me know in the comments whether you were successfully able to follow along, and are there any other use case which comes to your mind which we can implement using NER, right? So I'll wait for your comments, and with that, wrapping this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video of the generative AI activities series. Thank you for watching, and happy automation.